Hi, this is Lindworth playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with BioShock 1 Remastered. I am relatively close to the end of the game. I'm supposed to summon a little sister right here, so...
What is this you wait for? Go on! Hit the vent with your wrench!
So let's do that. There she is.
Und bitte. It would mean very much to me if you will be gentle with the girl. Mein kleines Mädchen.
And I'm supposed to escort it throughout the next level. I'm not sure how effective am I going to be with that. I'm not very good at this game. I'm not very good at games in general, but so far the game was actually a little bit easier than I thought. Maybe I would have actually survived on Survivor difficulty, but too late for regrets now.
The little ones will lead you to Fontaine,
Don't be
but you
a
must
slowpoke, Mr.
protect
B.
them.
Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
A man creates...
That's it, kid. It's been a long road. You don't even remember most of it. Put you on a sub when you were just a sprout.
Apparently she want to wait for me, so it's not really a level where I'm supposed to spend a lot of time exploring, it seems. It's more of a speed run, which is a pity because I am the type of player who would actually enjoy exploration.
No time to waste. Hurry, Mr. B. I can see the angels dancing in the sky.
Okay. To be honest,
Go, Mr. B.
I really wound you up with that wife and child bit. Oh, me poor Moira. Ay, me wee baby Patrick. Maybe one day I'll get me a real family. They play
Hurry,
well.
Mr. B. I can see the angels dancing in the sky.
to be honest, I find the lens of the helmet to be a little bit distracting. But I guess it's also supposed to be. It's supposed to be rather claustrophobic, is it not? To convey the feeling of being stuck inside the suit.
Mr. B. Angels are waiting for our kisses.
That's subject 1.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes. This one's ready to burst, Mr. B.
Even though they are physically free of the need to gather, Su Chung's mental conditioning still holds them to their terrible task.
I'm
For
a good
sins
girl,
such as
Mr. B.
these, you can never
Hurry,
atone.
Mr. B. Angels are waiting for our kisses.
I guess I'm probably supposed to protect her.
Official. Time to go, Mr. B.
Help me find this baby.
It must be pretty for angels. Hurry, Mr. B. I can see angels dancing in the sky. I see Adam, Mr. B. Hop, hop, Mr. B. No time to waste. Hurry, hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
Okay, are you ready? I think so. Let us
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B.
let us continue.
Angels don't wait for
Wow,
slowpokes.
that's a very cool anglerfish.
Hurry! Hurry, Mr. Bubbles!
I'm good looking. Can't they see that?
Time to go, Mr. B.
Well, I'm going. It's you who's, you know, moving slowly now. When I wanted you to move slowly, you run,
Hurry,
but now...
Mr. B. I can see the angel dancing in the sky.
Okay, that's subject 2.
Hop, hop, Mr. B. No time to waste. Help me! He hurt! He hurt!
Are you going to gather from this one, or do you not care?
Angels are waiting
Watch
for our
out!
kisses.
For certain, their harvesting will draw the attention of this blighter.
This angel looks like dancing. Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels do not wait for slowpokes. I'm hop, hop, Mr. B. No time to waste. I like Adam. He's special. Hurry! Hurry, Mr. Bubbles.
It's not that big of a level, to be honest.
Yeah, quiet, quiet. Make her be quiet.
Hurry, Mr. B. Angels are waiting.
Okay, I
Hurry,
guess...
Mr. B. I can see the angel dancing in the sky.
I guess she's ready. Well, and once again she's rushing forward
Time to go, Mr. B.
without any consideration for danger. Oh well. I guess it's just this kind of a
Don't be
level,
slowpoke,
and I
Mr.
have
B.
to bear with it.
Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
Is he going to attack
Don't be
me?
a slowpoke, Mr.
Technically speaking, I am another Big Daddy, am I
Angels
not?
Don't wait for slowpokes. Hurry, Mr. B.
Ignore the lies of
Angels
Atlas
are
and his
waiting.
parasites. Rapture is on the rise.
Karen, it's a little... Time to go, Mr. B. Hey, fella. Don't you want to Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpokes.
I guess you're going through here, right?
Hurry! Hurry, Mr. Bubbles! Hop, hop, Mr. B! No time to waste! Hurry, Mr. B! Angel! Dancing in the sun!
Where is...
Try again! Hurry, Mr. B! Angels are waiting for Hurry! Hurry,
I don't know
Mr.
what I
Bubbles!
was thinking. Never spliced up once the whole time I was down here in this aquarium. Figured it was bad to mix business with pleasure, but... Woo! Forget all the nose candy and floor polish I've been wasting time with. This stuff is the mother's milk.
Hop, hop, Mr. B!
She might actually die. Which would be, I'm not going to lie, rather annoying.
Time to go, Mr. B.
You must protect the little ones. They are not longer infused with Adam. They are as vulnerable as any child. If a little one falls, you can call for another at the vent. But to lose even one is a sin.
Yes, that is true. I feel very bad. I've just killed a child, basically. Well, obviously I haven't killed her personally, but I led to her death, which is functionally not that much better. You know, there is little that is worse than causing a death of a child. But oh well. As I said, I kind of suck.
Hurry! The harvesting will draw the attention of the spoilers.
I see Adam, Mr. B.
Listen to your doctor!
Angel, Mr. B. This angel looks like dancing. Honey, is that Adam, Mr. B? I like this Adam. Come where I am. Special. It was a pretty angel, Mr. B.
Okay, is it going to explode on her? That would be me killing a child directly. But luckily it does not seem to explode on her. Okay, I guess let's keep moving. It does not seem to be much of a sightseeing level. Well, are you going to fight? Apparently, for whatever reason, you are. Which I don't really understand. I have the pheromones, so he should see me as another Big Daddy. But I guess the game wanted to give you...
Better for the girls to be with you. Better with you than alone. Alone in the crawling darkness.
They wanted to give you somewhat of a challenge at this end stage.
Hurry, Mr. B. I can see the angel dancing in the sky.
Well, are you going?
Time to go, Mr. B.
Only the little ones can open these doors. You must protect them.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me. I already failed in that.
Don't be a slowpoke, Mr. B. Angels don't wait for slowpoke.
Ha! That might be plenty for the working scrubs and the pencil pushers, but I need more. More! I want a splice till there ain't nothing left to splice with!
Okay, I think...
Fontaine is nearby. You are reaching close now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the end of the game, so I'm going to buy the last upgrade and hack this. And buy some general ammunition, I guess.
Hurry!
Hack this.
Welcome to the circus of value.
There's no point in saving money at this point. Where is she?
There! You must use the needle of the little sister to drain Fontaine of his Adam. It is the only way to defeat him.
Here! Take this! Stick it in the bad man!
Okay. So that's the end, literally.
Fontaine waits above. There will be no going back from here. Make sure you are ready to face him before moving on.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else to do. So let's just go.
I remember when me and the crowd put you in that sub. You were no more than 2. You were my ace in the hole, but you were also the closest thing I ever had to a son. And that's why this hurts. Betrayal, kid. Life ain't strictly business.
Okay, it's nice for the game to save here automatically.
Come and get it, I'll get you! I'll put you down! You bastard! Catch my breath. And I'm gonna bury you and all them little eggs. Come and get it, You think I'm alone in this world? I got more than enough mugs to watch my back while I recharge. Come and get it, Mook! Come on! Come and get it, Mook! Come
Wow.
and get it, Mook!
That's a nice
I'm
view.
ready for you!
Not really supposed to be admiring that, I guess.
Get back here! Come and get it, Mook! You bastard! You little nothing! had you built. I sent you topside. I called you back, showed you what you was capable of. Even that life you thought you had, that was something I dreamed up and had tattooed inside your head. Now, if you don't call that family, I don't know what is. And now...
They offered you this city. And you refused it. And what did you do instead? What I've come to expect of you. You saved them. You gave them the one thing that was stolen from them. A chance. A chance to learn. To find love. To live. And in the end, what was your reward? You never said. But I think I know. A family.
Well, so that was BioShock 1. It has aged very well, although I do sort of keep in the back of my head this is not the original version, it is specifically a remaster, so I suppose the textures and some of the effects were, you know, improved over the original. But I guess what has stood amazing anyway was the general art direction. This game was very beautiful to look at. The environments were masterfully designed to make you believe that there was this grandiose city on the bottom of the sea with, you know, with all of those marvelous designs and opulent interiors and rich, you know, rich architecture and all of the ornate sort of decorations and all that. So it definitely, Rapture felt very, very real, despite being, in essence, a bit of a nonsensical concept, because obviously, even if you were to somehow build a city at the bottom of the ocean, you wouldn't design it the way they did. The buildings, they looked like regular topside buildings. They were very sort of spiky, like they were very high and tall, and that wouldn't work because of pressure. But you didn't really think about it because it all looked so beautiful and so you know, so engaging to look at, that you felt engrossed in this world and just wanted to look at everything in detail, or at least I did. And generally, this game, I would say, has aged very well. It was still very fun to me, even though I did know all of the major plot points. It was still very much fun to me to return to this game and to remember all of that in detail. There were some details I didn't entirely remember. For example, I didn't remember how much of a hypocrite Andrew Ryan was. And if anything, that's one of my gripes, kind of, with the story. I think it went overboard with the attempts to vilify Ryan, because in the end, there was nothing you could respect him for, and he represented nothing of value. And I feel like it makes this the message of this game kind of trivial, because the message, despite what the developers were saying, and despite what a lot of people seem to be believing on the internet, the message of this game is less that extreme political ideologies are a bad idea, or that objectivism specifically is a bad idea, but the message is that being a giant hypocrite who betrays everything that you ever profess to believe is a bad idea, which, well, thank you very much, game. I would never have guessed that, because it's not that Rapture failed, at least as it was described in this game. It wasn't as much because of the specific ideology of objectivism, but more so because Andrew Ryan was a giant hypocrite who was utterly unprepared to go through any kind of crisis in his leadership. And in fact, you could say he was not a leader at all. He was more of a, to be honest, he was straight up a tyrant. He had all of the qualities that would make a tyrant, and he became one. So what even is the message there? Like, it's a bad idea to turn your back on everything that you previously said you're going to stand for. Like, okay, I guess so. Like, I do agree, but that's not entirely profound, and that doesn't, like, it wouldn't matter what ideology Rapture was founded on, because Andrew Ryan was such a giant dick and such an incompetent megalomaniacal buffoon that he probably would have screwed it up either way. So, like, what's the point? What's the point in setting it specifically in a supposed objectivist utopia if the points of that were not really that well explained? Ironically, I think some of the points are better touched on in BioShock 2, because it explores specifically this idea of what happened to the lower class of Rapture, what happened with the people who were contracted to build the city, the actual manual laborers that were doing that, and what happened to them afterwards, which is a better idea to me, and it's something that I would have liked the game to have explored in greater detail, and overall showcase not necessarily the hypocrisy of the people of Rapture, but I think it would have worked better if it showcased their unwavering devotion to those ideals of objectivist free markets, pushed to their absolute without actually compromising on them. Because obviously you can create a very effective villain by doing that, because from an objectivist standpoint, there is nothing wrong with people dying as a result of their own mistakes. There's nothing wrong with poverty, and there's no actual moral obligation on the part of anyone to actually stop that. Which was something that was a little bit touched upon in BioShock 1, with the fact that Andrew Ryan despised the idea of Fontaine running charity, but obviously it's a bit undercut by the fact that in this particular case, Andrew Ryan was actually correct, and Fontaine was not being charitable at all. He was using this as a ploy to gather a revolutionary army. So I feel like that undercuts the point. But as I said, in the novel Rapture, there is a novelization of the games. There are a couple of plot points that I find to be rather effective in displaying the horrors of an objectivist society, even if it's running as it's intended, because there could be a lot done about displaying like monopolies and or like horrible working conditions, because obviously there were no Ryan could not and would not break up monopolies, because he believed that if you're good enough to attain a monopoly legally, then you deserve it. And same goes for workers' rights, right? If someone quote unquote voluntarily agrees to do a job for a measly pay, then for an objectivist that's okay, because the market has sort of dictated that, and the point of economical coercion in the way of you being forced to do a job, even a dangerous job, for a measly pay, because otherwise you're going to starve to death, is something that could have easily been glossed over by the people of Rapture, and probably would have been. And I feel like it might have been a more effective story if it went this route. To showcase the actual dangers of an actual extreme pursued with hardcore diligence, rather than compromising on this ideology on every turn. Because, as I said, I didn't remember how much of a hypocrite Andrew Ryan was, and in the end it made him a bit lesser of a character in my mind, because he represented nothing. He stood for nothing. He has betrayed everything he supposedly believed in. I think it would have been more interesting if he either had more doubts about compromising on those values, or didn't compromise on them at all, and instead still end up doing horrible things because he would consider literally his own self-interest, as in being what Ayn Rand would consider an ethical egoist. By that I mean it's not that he would actively mistreat people, because obviously you can't do that. You can't impose on other people's freedom in an objectivist society. But on the other hand, you don't have any actual moral obligation to help them. So he could be like, oh, there are people, dying of starvation. They probably deserve that because they weren't working hard enough or whatever. That would still create a very effective villain, but one that I would think, for me at least, would be more interesting than what Andrew Ryan turned out to be eventually. Yeah, but what else? I will be playing BioShock 2 as well, but I will probably not be playing BioShock Infinite. I won't get into the specifics, but let me just say that I don't entirely like BioShock Infinite. I think it's overhyped to a ridiculous degree. I think its main plot points are ridiculous and borderline nonsensical, and also I kind of despise the whole retcon that they did with the stories of BioShock 1. So I'm probably not going to play Infinite. I will, however, play BioShock 2, because I think BioShock 2 is given a lot of bad rep, and it's not nearly as bad as people make it out to be. I think it has some poor elements, because the main plot of BioShock 2 seems kind of like a gotcha, reverse BioShock 1. They had Andrew Ryan in BioShock 1, and then they thought, oh, let's make sure that we properly demonize the other side of the political spectrum, just to be sure. Although still, I don't think it works that well, because I don't think BioShock 1 has succeeded in vilifying objectivism. It could have done a lot of better job, because, as I said, this is mostly for me a game about flaws in human nature itself. Andrew Ryan would have screwed everyone over probably, regardless of what kind of society it would be, because he was a profoundly weak man with no actual conviction in what he supposedly believed in. So, yeah, but I think BioShock 2 is actually pretty good, all things considered. Maybe not great, but pretty good. And I will be playing BioShock 2. I will probably not be playing BioShock Infinite, but I'll think about it. Maybe I'll warm up to the idea eventually. And I will also be visiting the museum and listening to all of the director's commentary, but I'm going to do it in the next episode. For now, that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!